So, good evening, everyone, wherever you're calling in from the United States of America, from the UK, from Nigeria, wherever you're calling in from. I think by now it's evening for everyone anyway, except for calling in from maybe Asia or something. So, today we're just going to be having a little bit of, we're going to be having an outlook of what the week has in store for us. We've saw some really massive drops in the week that just passed. Well, towards the end of the week, because the beginning of the week was very quite slow. But towards the end of the week, we started seeing some really good drops. Like look at this drop here in Euro USD. We saw some really good drops with the GBP pairs as well. So I'm not sure what is happening in the UK. So, but it's not something for us to be worried about. We know, as traders, we are always winners. What do I mean by that? Is unlike you doing stock, when the stock prices are going up, you're making money. When it is coming down, you're losing money. But for forex, it's different. When it's going up, you're making money. When it's coming down, you're making money if you're in the right place at the right time. If you have your strategies locked down and you're following the market the way it should be, so we don't ever lose. If you have everything in place, you are constantly winning. When the currencies are going up, you're winning. When you're buying, when it's coming down, you're selling. So you're winning both ways. So that said, we're just gonna go into the USD pairs. But first of all, you know how we roll. Right now, I'm not sure the market is gonna be. What let me just start here. I'm not sure what news that we have. So that's why we're gonna go to the forex factory calendar to see if we can to give us an idea what news we have coming up. So in the next week we have let me see 29th, today's 30th. From 30th, sorry, we have NZD news coming. Japan bank holiday. Okay, means that we're definitely gonna see a very slow GPY pairs in terms of maybe like if you're having GBP GPY. If you're going to see a good move at all, it would be from the GBP pairs. You have USD JPY, so the effect on the move will be really on the USD currency, because Japan is on break now. They have a bank holiday, so normally during holidays the pairs tend to move slowly because there's not much liquidity going around. So we're going to be having NZD news on Monday. Now, bear in mind, I'm looking at this thing from the GMT time frame. Yeah, not the CST. So if you are the CST or the EST, you need to look at it from your own time zone. Time zone, I meant to say. Look at it from your own time zone to see the actual time that this will be happening. For me, this is when this is going to be happening, 2 a.m. That's which is relating to the time that by 2 a.m. some of us will be sleeping anyway. But because it's New Zealand is in, you may be seeing some. Yeah, that's why it's 2 a.m. On here. Maybe in the afternoon back there or something. I don't know what time it would be in your own time frame. So just look at that so you can confirm if you're going to be trading this. Then the same week we'll be looking at same day we're looking at AUD as well. They're not sure what time it's going to be, but we know that we have an AUD news. If you notice, I'm only looking at excuse me, let me see if I have. Okay, nobody has sent a message. You notice I'm only looking at the ones with the red. So the ones with the red are the ones that have the high impact news. The yellow ones are the low. Is it low impact now? Yeah, and the orange ones are the medium impact news. The ones that are grayed out are the ones that are no actions happening. So right now we know that we're going to be having the AUD news, means that pairs like the GBP, AUD, EA, Euro, what am I saying now? EU AUD. Is it EUR AUD? Yeah, we're having that, and some other AUD pairs are just going to have impact. Either they're going to drop or they're going to go up. So you have to put that into consideration as you're trading. So it's going to be a speech from one of the leaders in you know in the state or in the country. So after that, come and also just a point of note. The reason all these news are very important because they really um, facilitate the movement of the currencies. These things need to happen. The news needs to happen. The low impact and medium impact news are also important because they will aid the movement of the currencies themselves. Only that the high impact news would make the movement be more volatile in terms of they will throw more pips, to us to fetch. Tuesday, I believe it's another. I think this is China. I would presume China. China. I think it's China. So there's a bank holiday, but that's not really related to us. We'll have another AUD news on Tuesday as well. That one is a medium impact one. On Tuesday, Euro bank holiday. We'll see low movement in and the chef in the euro, and most of the currencies that have that, meaning euro USD may experience some form of drag. Euro AUD, every one of those euro currencies would have some low movement. But if you have some high impact activity on the other side of the currency, say for instance the USD for Euro USD, you would see that the currency itself would really move with relation to the USD currency itself. So just put this into consideration if you're going to be trading this. Just know that this is not going to give you this is not going to give you much movement because of this bank holiday that is going to be happening. That same Tuesday, would see GBP pairs having have news happening on the GBP pairs. Recently, we've just been seeing some really big drop in GBP. So maybe this may be the correction on those drop, putting them back into where they were, or it may just help it to continue dropping. But whatever happens, they would help us because we would mark up the charts and have them boxed up in such a way that wherever direction they go to, they will still give us our winnings. We have our strategies that we use to enter the market every time. So same Tuesday. In fact, Tuesday is going to just be a very sweet day because we have more news on that day. We have card news. We are now in GBP CAD on the swing trade. Hopefully, I know some people have been knocked out on their positions. Some are still there, like myself. I'm still holding on to mine. It hasn't gotten to my stop loss, but if it knocks me out, it's all good. It's all good. It's money. It's money. We can re-enter when we find another opportunity. So we'll look at that chart again to see where we are and where we would need to, where we're expecting this to go to. So if this currency drops well, then it means that we are definitely going to be, some of us that are still there are going to be knocked out. And then we'll look for a good entry and re-enter the market, because then I'm pretty sure there's going to be some form of correction. But if not, what happened, the drop that happened, with this news is going to correct it back to the upside, and we'll start our journey to that massive peak that we're looking to get. Same Tuesday, we have USD news again. Another good opportunity for us to win big. Same Tuesday, another card news. This one is another speech again. Speeches do move markets a lot as well. We have NZD news as well. In fact, Tuesday is going to be a massive peeping day. So everyone just buckle your seatbelt and we'll go for this ride. Wednesday, we have another GBP news. So this may pretty much just help us. So whatever this does, if we are in GBP CAD, this news may just help us push it to some level, and when we come on Wednesday, this will continue to push it to the upside, and we'll be winning, till we get to where we're going to. It's just 2020 or 60 pips. It's not too much. Remember, it's a 5.3 trillion industry, so if we're just taking 2060 pips, that's 2,000 pounds or 200 pounds or 20 pounds, depending on whatever lot size you are jumping in the market with. So that same Wednesday, massive news happening also with the USD as well. So just be on the lookout. Crude oil inventories. Now you know what happens when there is movement with oil. It means that CAD would have some good movement as well. NZD will have some good movements, and I think Chef as well will have some good movements, because we know that these are commodities and they work. The currency NZD, CAD, and I think Chef, or is it EUD now? They have a relationship with them, because the reason why that is because they are the countries that have as commodities as their main products, so it affects their currency. Okay, on Thursday, man, I'm telling you, this next week is just going to be sweet, because on Thursday we have another good news. Although all day we have Japan bank holiday, it's not a problem. Some of us are not trading GPY pairs, so but we have AUD news, we have GBP news, In fact, this week is just going to be very, very sweet. Have CAD news as well. So there's nothing to fear if you're kicked out of your CAD position. It means that if it continues going down, we just have to keep selling until we get to where we are turning. But the way it looks like CAD just looks like it's placed in a very good place. So we have nothing to fear, So even if it comes back down, it's all good. You can just ride it to the downside. But then in that case, we'll probably be looking at it 4-minute double, a triple bottom. But at the moment, this is a very good setup the way I see it. So whatever happens, we are just how many pips away from where my stop loss is anyway. Just 100 pips away from where my stop loss is, 120 pips. It's all good. So if I'm knocked out of this position, I'll probably look for another entry. It means I'm definitely going to win big on this one. But if not, then I should be looking to bring this, keep selling this down, another 700 plus. Who knows? Might even come down here to give us another 1,070 pips. Okay, 1,709. Wow. Is that what I just saw? Okay. Yep, that's what I saw. 1,740, about 46. So yep, so expect that to drop massive pips. Friday again starts out with news on AUD, still bank holiday. Japan is really having a good week, because they're all gonna be asleep, playing around, or not just going on holidays or stuff because of the bank holiday throughout that week. Then we have the Audi news as well. Remember, we're also looking at AUD, GBP AUD to drop massively, because we are currently in a range. So we want it to just give us, massive wins. If this drops, I'm telling you, this is just going to bring us back to where we want it to be. How many pips here? It's about 500 plus pips. I'm really, really looking forward to this pair. So guys, just look at it with me as well. That same Friday, we have USD news. We have USD news happening, and trust me, I'm not going to let this week pass me by without trading, getting massive wins, But then again, we will not want to rush the market. We will want to jump in anyhow. We need to get good confirmation before we jump into the market, so that we win, so that we don't just jump in and get knocked out and start regretting, why did I start doing Forex? Forex is scam, like a lot of people would say. So get good confirmation, then we'll jump into the market, and then we will win and we will all rejoice. That's what we have for this week. Now, I'm just going to take you straight up to the chart. Then we'll start looking at what is available or what might be happening this week. You know me, I always start out with on the higher time frame to identify my levels. So these days I want to take things a little bit forward. Maybe I'll start on the monthly to just see what's happening. Change this color. We don't like blue. Let me change it to yellow. So see, this is the low where we are right now, and this is the highest point of the market presently. You know how we roll. Yeah, I remember I used to say we should use the line chart. You can also use that if you want to capture just the body of the candle. Yeah, sometimes I use that. Sometimes I use just the wicks as well. So this is where the whole of this month, this is where we are trading within. We are not going away from this up and down, unless of course it breaks this top. Then we know that we're definitely going somewhere around. Let me see. Let me just put this here. Let me put this here. This is the closest place the market got to. How many pips is that? Yeah, 200 plus 200 pips. So it's not so bad. So, but if it breaks that, I don't like it when I see when this thing is all choppy like this. It's really, it's really, I don't like it. So, but when I go to the lower time frame, I may be able to see some good levels to look at. But this is where we are on the monthly. This is where we are on the monthly. That's. So if it breaks to the upside, this is where we're going to. Then I can see another level here before I move forward. I can see this one here. See this one here. Take capture this one. Yep. So we're going to be trading within these ranges. So I'm going to the weekly now to just kind of see where we're at. So there's no crime if I move my levels. Remember, you don't be afraid to move your levels when you're going down your time frame. So this is where we're at. Let me see if I can find something on to the left. For instance, just in case it breaks out and goes to the left. Let me see. Let me see. I can pick this one here. You understand how I do this? I'm just looking for touches. You know, I can see a touch here. I can see a touch. I'm really looking for where I'm really trying. I shouldn't actually be trying to see levels. They should be clear. Remember how it is. If it's not clear, there's no point trading it. Just leave it alone and go to where you can find clarity. You shouldn't guess. You shouldn't gamble. And if you're not seeing, if the chart is not clear, there's no point trying to see, make something out of it. You know, except that's the only pair you trade, and then in that case, it means you need to wait to see, to make sure that it's clear enough for you to see. Don't force it. So this is closest I can find, yeah, which is good for me because I can see a touch here, see a touch here, see a touch here, see a touch here, see a touch here. So it means if it's because it came here and it jumped up, you know, came back there, broke it, and so it means it's really something that that I have to look at, because if you notice here too, it came up, touched it, and couldn't break, dropped back, went back there, couldn't break, then dropped back again, and then the third time it went there, broke it, and you know, so it's really a good structure to look at, a good level, I'd rather say, to look at. So that's where that one is at. Now, to be able to really keep this in place so I can see what I'm doing, I would like to use my rectangle to just kind of box that level up. Remember what I always say, it's not really your support and resistance lines are not really lines per se. They are areas where you're taking profit or doing your stop loss, or where you think the market is going to move. Why is that? Because every other person is also looking at that level. When some other people are seeing 1.3470, you might be seeing 1.3450. You know, so that makes it not a concrete place, but a zone or a level. You know, not a line per se. You know, so this is where we are at. You know, so I'm gonna keep drawing the lines, the boxes around those areas, just to pretty much just keep things in perspective. Now, one of the reasons why I'm drawing these lines, Let me just make that a bit thinner. It's not too wide. Keep things neat. So one of the other reasons also why I draw this line is just to also divide things into their different zones. Like now I know that the market is trading beyond this level. It's in a sell zone right now. For me, it's in a sell zone. If I'm trading in the weekly, it's in the sell zone right now. So if it breaks this level and goes up, what am I expecting it to do? I'm going to start buying it. I'm going to start buying it from this point. If it breaks this level in the sell zone, see what happened. The market broke structure, retested a bit, and what did you see? It dropped, and then it's been trying to force itself out of this zone. So I'm just going to capture that zone again. I don't want to go too far away. I know that there is something on the left, but can't be bothered. Just going to let it be here. So as long as I see that, I see the clear indication of these zones, this level being touched, and the struggle that is happening here. So you see what happened? Market broke structure, retested, and what did you see it do? It dropped. When it dropped, what did it do again? It retested structure. Same principle. You have to play with structure. If you are the structure person, you have to always look for it when you're trading. If a Fibonacci person, this also works as well. If you're a supply and demand person, it works as well. But right now we're dealing with structure. So look at what happened. Market broke structure. If you look at it from the upside, what did it do? It broke the structure. What did it do? It retested it. What did it do? It dropped. When it came in, what did it do? It broke that. What did it do? It retested. And what did you see? It dropped again. So when it broke this other one, what did it do? It retested. And what did it do? It dropped again. So it's just following structure. So I'm going to draw that out again on Euro USD. Mind you, I'm still on the weekly time frame, just trying to capture the price movements. Now, what happened? It came here, tested, couldn't break, came here, tested, couldn't break, came here, tested, and tried to break, but there was so much going on the upside. The bull guys were so strong, so that's why I kept throwing pins here, So it finally jumped back in, and what did it do? It retested that zone that it seemed to have broken into. What did you see it do? It jumped to the upside. And what has it been doing? It's been creating higher highs, and is it higher high and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows. And sweet enough, this is a very sweet market, I must confess, because it broke out of here. What did you see it do? It broke structure and retested. Remember, this is structure. It's just been playing around this area. So it broke structure and retested it. It struggled to break it initially, but it finally broke it. What did it see it do? It retested, and what did it do eventually? It jumped according to what we planned. We note it to be once it breaks a particular zone or support and resistance lines, it retests it and then jumps to the upside. And what did you see it do now? Remember that place that it came in and retested. It's never been able to go back to there. The last time it went there was what year? It broke out of it in 2014, December 2014, and it only went back there when? Just recently. It went back there 2018, January. So that's a very strong zone. If you're a supply and demand person, that's a good thing, because you know that when supply breaks creates from a supply zone, what does it do? It comes back to test that zone. That's what it normally does. If it breaks out of a supply zone, it will normally come back to test that zone. So that is what it did here. Remember structure. It broke out of this structure. What did it do? Came back and retested it and dropped. Again, if you want to see it from another perspective, it came back and tested it and dropped. If you want to look at it from another perspective, it came back and tested it and dropped. Every time it comes back to test the zone, and it doesn't break it, you normally see it drop. Sometimes it drops back to the lowest point of the zone it got to. Sometimes it doesn't. Like, look at what it did here. Okay, well, this isn't tested, but this tested it. This didn't come back to test it directly. It just kept trying to go back up. It couldn't even go back, and finally came back down. So put all of that into consideration. But this giant move right here, it broke this, and what did it do? It came back to test it. Now, I give you a tip. If it came here, tested this thing, and if it came here and tested it, somehow just know that it's definitely going to come here and test because of this breakout. also know that it's definitely going to come back eventually, even though it doesn't come back this month or this week. It's definitely going to come back to this zone. So wait. If you're a swing trader, just know that this move right here is definitely going to come back and test this move, and then this as well is definitely going to come back and test this. What do I mean? This guy here eventually, even though it doesn't come back, is going to break it eventually later on. I don't know when he's going to do that. He's going to break this eventually, and then he's going to break this eventually and come back and test here. So but right now, what we're seeing is what it is right now. It's rejecting this level, and I can see another level forming here, so I can capture it. So if I capture it, you see what happened. Boom, level here, and boom, another level here, and boom, another level here. And presently, what are we seeing? A rejection. See what's happening. So what do you think is going to happen? I think this is going to go back up. Why? Because it's making higher highs and higher lows. So even if we draw a trend line here right now, you would see what I mean. Let me take that trend line to the. Touch your line. So if I take this trend line, see what's happening right there. You can see what's happening. So it's creating, it's going on, it's on a higher, it's on a, is it a bullish higher trend now, upper trend? That's what is happening right now. It's presently going up. So it's testing, it hasn't come to break this low yet. So I can tell you that it might still be going up. This never came back to break this low. It kept going up. This also, there was a reject there. It dropped and it broke it, came back and retested. And if it came back to retest the zone, what do we expect it to do? Good. We expect it to jump back to the upside. So we might be seeing how many pips out of these moves right now? 482 pips. 482 pips. Mind you, I'm on a weekly time frame. So that's what is currently happening at this point in time. Now, this is what I'm expecting for that move for this week. It may take maybe a couple of weeks for this to finish moving, but anyway, that's just for that. So I'm going to delete this and bring things down to the lower time frame where we tend to trade, the daily time frame. So where are we now? The idea is to know where we are so that we know where we are going to. Because if you don't know where you are, you will not know where you're going to. So just know where you are at the point in time. So now then you don't begin to map out your strategy, your direction. Okay, so where am I going from where I am now? So that's right now. We know where we are coming from. We know that this market, we're expecting this market to be quite bullish. So right now, what are we going to do? We're going to map out. Let me look at the other levels as well. I'm just going to do this as well. Remember structure? Structure plays out in every time frame. The higher time frame, the lower time frame, you see the same thing. Structure happens on every time frame. So now look at what happened here. Broke out. What did it do? Broke out. Pull back, and then if you put a line here right now, remember on this lower time frame, you're allowed to put more lines. If you put the line right here, you would see that it's actually some levels as well that price broke out of and came back and retested, broke out, retested, and jumped, broke out. When it couldn't break above it, what did it do? It dropped back. Where did it drop back to that level? And then it kind of broke that level and came back to which level? The other levels. See why levels are important? Because you can easily catch the market wherever it is at. If you saw that it broke out of this place, where is it going to? It's going back to the other levels, but although you haven't created it, but if you create them, you'll see it will always come back to the level it's been before. I'm going to go ahead and create those levels. This is one of it. You can see here. I'll make it the same thing with this one. So it's the same one. So I'm just going to do this for this one. Create the same level so that, because I know that if it breaks this level, it's definitely coming back to these other levels. This is on my daily time frame, so I'm going to capture that. But look at it. Remember what I said. Look at how many pips is here. We have 100 plus pips. So if we come down to the lower time frames, I'm always looking for at least 100 pips. My moves are always 100 pips. So that's why you see me. I can capture as many lines as I can see. But they would not be less than 100 pips. So but if you go to the higher time frames, it might seem a lot, But drive down to the lower time frames, you see that they are far apart. The lines are the lines and the spaces are far apart, just 100 pips. So now look at that. Let me see how many pips this is. Oh, that's 200 plus pips. So it's all good. So it means if it breaks this level, it may get to this level before here, but it's not a problem. I'm still far away from where it is, so I'm not really bothered about the downside at this point in time. Remember, we've already established the fact that it may be going up. So now we can say that this market is in a consolidation. Yep, we can say that. Now, this has put this market in a sell zone right now. But as long as this doesn't break, it hasn't broken this, I'm still good to keep selling this market. I mean, to keep buying this market. Why? Because I can clearly see that it's in an uptrend. Excuse me. It's in an uptrend. Let me pick it from here. Yeah, it's in an uptrend. You see what's happening? It's in an uptrend. So where did it come to? It came to that zone. It hasn't broken it yet. It hasn't broken it yet, but if it breaks it, I know that definitely it's probably going to come down a little bit more, So, but for now, I don't have any reason to be selling this. I don't have any reason to be selling. I'm just going to keep buying this. So this one, remember again, because it's in a channel, you may be careful as you are trading this, because although we say it's in a what's it called? It's in an uptrend. Anything can happen. It could turn around. So keep this here. It broke out, and then it's similar as if it wants to retest. As long as it hasn't broken this, there's no reason for me to look for a sell yet. If it breaks this, then I can sell. But if I'm going to sell this market, what I need to see a breakout. I need to see a retest. Remember structure. It needs to retest that structure because it struggled here a number of times. It struggled. But if it finally breaks out, what does it need to do? It needs to break it. Break it. It broke it here. You can see it. It tried to break. Couldn't. It now finally broke it. And what am I seeing? I'm seeing a retest. I can call this a retest. But presently, if we are saying the reason why we're doing this is just in case this is not a retest, this is a retest and then a break to the downside, no problem at all. We are not going to be afraid of it. Then we're just going to write it down to this time. As sweet as that. We'll wait for it to break and then we'll wait for a retest and then we'll write it down to therefore how many pips? Jesus is Lord. That's 349 or 50 pips, 353 pips. So that's what this market is offering us right now. Now, if we are doing what we're supposed to do, is in a bullish, is in an uptrend, then we should be buying this market. We expect this market to just jump from here, do some form of, give us some form of confirmation or something, maybe a bullish engulfing candle, then we can now buy this market back to the upside, into that trend, into that channel that we've just broken out of. For how many pips? How many pips is this? Jesus is Lord, 470 pips, So this is your move right there, 470 pips. This market is going nowhere, it is going nowhere. So you can trade this, trade this back to the upside. And also, mind you, look at what is happening here. I can remember what I always say, I don't trade consolidations, I don't trade ranges, I only trade when markets break out. For some of you that do, that is your move right there. You see, when it went here, but the next time it didn't get back to the upside. It's just been going up and down within the same range. So you might expect this to just trade between here. It may come back in and trade between here and here for if 340 pips move and not go up as high as that place. But that we are not worried about it going back to the top. What we are really looking for is 100 pips, 150 pips, and we're out of the market. So even if it moves from here, and I'm going to draw a line to this point here. Let me see let me see what that move is. So even if it moves from here and then goes back to this point, it's good enough for us. It's a 130 pips move. 140 pips, 140 pips move. So you get what I mean? So if you get a good confirmation here, a bullish engulfing candle or whatever, or a flag or whatever you get, then trade it to this next zone. Then if it breaks that zone, take it to this next zone. So every place you see some form of reaction in the market, those are your TP zones. Every place you see reaction. If it breaks that one now, if it breaks this, where is it going to? It's going to this next place. For how many pips again? Another 170 pips. Then if it breaks that, where is it going to? Yes, you guessed it, to the top of that range. For how many pips move? For 100 and, because I know it's definitely 100. Yep, another 160 pips move. So this is your. I'm just going to change this cut loss so you can see. Probably make this tail or something. Yep, change that to, because that's levels on the smaller time frame. Same thing. So the levels are identified on the smaller time frame. So yeah, these are our key levels. Our key levels between here and here. Therefore, that 400 plus move. But these are sub levels, you know. So if it breaks, if it doesn't break this, then it's going up to this next level. If it breaks this one, it's going up to this next level. If it breaks this one, it's going up to our main level. That, just have that at the back of your mind. But then if it breaks this place, sure enough, we're taking it to the moon. It's gonna break and wait for your retest to happen. Your retest happens, and what do? Just jump in and move. Some people tend to, when they see a break out of this zone, they tend to put a sell limit. I mean, it's a sell limit now, yeah, buy limit. You know, buy immediately it breaks out of that zone, they put a buy limit because they know it's going to come back down, and then they can take it to the upside for how many pips? For another 100 plus pips. You see? Yep, that's 204 pips, 200 pips move. Then if it breaks, if it doesn't break, it's definitely coming back down. So you ride it to the top and ride it to the bottom. And if it does that, but if it does go up, all you need to do is just to let it go up and then let it retest. As usual, don't jump, don't chase the market, let it come to you. Then what happens? You ride it to the top for another almost 600 pips, I would say. Let me see. From here, okay, 400 pips, not too bad, short of 200. 400 pips, that's good enough. That is good enough. No, not yet. Okay, so that's for Euro USD, for those of you that trade Euro USD, but you can also bring it down to the lower time frame. You know, if you go to the smaller time frame, you tend to see things more noise and more clearly, if you will. So, but then nothing changes. Nothing changes. If you look at it, structure still in place. This guy is still intact. This is still intact. You can still see everything. You tend to see them bigger, you know. So what you're looking for right now is some entry confirmation for you to take this trade. So you see, that's what you're looking for. Some confirmation for you to take this trade. You know, this was trying to create a double bottom, head and shoulder, of which it did create a head and shoulder. You see, created a head and shoulder. So which was our the sweet confirmation for us to enter that market. You know, what do we call a head and shoulder? Is a reversal pattern. So we saw that shoulder, we saw the head, and what did it do? It jumped. Let me see if I can get an entry on that shoulder. Left shoulder. Okay. Didn't really get a good entry. Unless, of course, okay, what am I saying? That is my guy right there. That is my guy right there. Let me see. I would have really liked a lot to see it broke out. Nah, this will be me faking it. Here, I would really like to see a retest of this place before I can jump in on that move, because this is the top of the, supposed to be like this. Yep, supposed to be like that. This is how we do the head and shoulder. We don't cheat. We see it and we trade it normal way. So, or do I know if I bring it down to the smaller time, I will have gotten an entry, but I'm not going to do that because that's too, it goes too low. I don't trade the smaller time frames. So that's what we're seeing. So that's what we're seeing. So our entry would have been breakout. Yep. and the retest. So for me, I would say I'm not ready to take this move yet. I need to see this come back down, because even on my 15 minutes, it hasn't still come. It's pulling back, but I need to see it really drop back to here, or if you can withstand drawdowns, you can just take it from here. For how many pips? 12 pips. It's fine. You can take this trade now, and then see what happens. You can take this trade, have your stop loss somewhere around here. How many pips would that stop loss be? From here to probably here, 19 pips. Not too bad. Even if you take it to this pip, that's 50 pips stop loss. Not so bad for you to take a risk on that trade. So then if that happens, then you know that you're going somewhere. No, it's fine. You know that if that happens, then you know where you're going to. You're going back into that range. And if you're going back, before you even get to the range, you've already carried your how many pips home? 145 pips home. And if it keeps going up, that's your move. I mean, those are your targets. All right. Thank you. That's for Euro USD. Now I jump to Euro USD JPY. I think I'm going to skip this one for now, because the JPY pairs have just been, based on what we see, we're going to see a lot of Japanese bank holidays. So, okay, so this guy right here, USD CAD. USD CAD. You know the drill. We start on the higher time frames, unless of course we can't see anything on the monthly, then we bring things down to the weekly. But I think I can capture a few levels. Let me see. I can capture a few levels. I don't like this monthly time frame. You want to bring things down. Aha, this looks better. So yep, this is where we're at. You see that double bottom forming there, that double bottom happening there, and this retest was just too massive. It was a massive retest. Should have just finished here and then jumped up. So if we were in this trade, would have lost this trade, because retest would have had a stop loss somewhere around here. But it's all good. We are not chasing the market, so this is coming here and forming another level here, from another level there. Let's see, another level somewhere here, because that's where the market is currently at. So this is where the market is currently at. So let's see what is happening to the left side. Okay, see that move, broke out of there, came back, hasn't been back here. It's only came back here how many weeks ago? Let me see. Where it is at, broke out, hasn't returned here, came back here a few weeks ago. Let me see, so many weeks, like 2000, a few weeks ago, 2017. Oh, okay, I'm on the higher time frame, the weekly time frame. So this is where it is at, and it's currently going up right now. It's broken out, retested, broken out, retested. So I think this guy is going up right now. It's going to the upper zone where it started out from. Probably might get to somewhere around here. Let me see. That's a good level to note. Okay, let's just keep that level. We'll go to the smaller time frame. We'll see some more good levels. So on the daily, now see what happened right here. You can see with me, we saw a double bottom, head and shoulder form here. I think I remember we caught this move. We caught this head and shoulder. Yeah, we caught it. We caught this one to the downside. Yeah, I remember. Yes, we caught it. We didn't lose this one. So what did it do? Gave us very good entry. In fact, not just we, even those in Dr. Cathy's group, they caught it as well. So we saw that move, and it came all the way down and then jumped back up. So what's happening right now, it might actually be forming a reverse head and shoulder, which is good for us because we're just going to win it as well. So what we are seeing now, let me see if I can bring this down so that I can capture the neck of that first head and shoulder, then create another zone so that I can capture the neck of this other head and shoulder. If you look at what I'm seeing as well, it's within a zone as well. So we box that in. Let's box that in. We box this one in. Why? Because it's another structure that it had to break to drop to the downside. And we can capture this guy as well. So that's where we feel that it might go to as well. So what we're expecting to happen now, see what's happening. Yep. We need to see, it might be showing us it's forming a head and shoulder now, but we are not going to just jump in because we think it's going to be a head and shoulder. We're going to jump in because we can confirm that it's going to be a head and shoulder. We can see the head, the shoulder forming somewhere here. See that move. And we can see that move. Yep. Then we see this move happening. Saw that move. We saw this move happening now. Yep. And it's what we are waiting to see now is this move. This thing is just too sweet, Forex is it's very interesting if you catch the realm of it. You know what you're doing. You can really enjoy your job as you're doing it. This is where we're going to, if everything remains equal. But if we're even trying to measure it, let's see if we can get more out of this move if we measure it. Sure, we should. So if I bring this down, measured move, so my entry will be around here. My entry will be, where would my entry be? Nope, my entry won't be here. My entry will be here, around here. If I try to measure this, I might see some level. So let's take this to the back and see if it's a key level to monitor. So if I take this back, boom. Sweet, isn't it? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. See all of that. You see, it fell within a key level. Fell within a key structure level. Remember, we were even doing the head and shoulder. See that, and see that retest. And yeah, so that is your move. So even though you want to trade this, you want to eat this from that retest. Let me see this. Even if you want to eat this from this retest to this point, or 185 or 190 pips, you can still do that. If you choose to now do much more than that, you can still take it all the way from here to here for double that amount, 369 or 70 pip move. So that is your move right there. Chinelo says she's dancing. I'm telling you, it's what to dance about. Now, we can see that move. It's within structure. They're all acting within structure. And we're waiting for this to confirm. We don't jump in on this trade. This is not our trade right here. This is not our trade. Our trade is here. So wait for this to break out and retest. This is where we enter the move. And then when we enter, where's our TP? Here's our first TP. And if that happens, what do we wait for again? If we first of all get that out of the way, then we wait for this to happen. So I'm just not to have too many lines. So I'm going to take this, move this. Then, so wait for that to happen. That to break out, and then we wait for this to happen, and then when that happens, we buy this guy. We buy it to the next place where. So either way you look at it, if you want to do the measured move, you can just measure it and keep your TP there. If not, just enter your market, and when you've entered, take TP here. If you TP here, it breaks it, no problem. Wait for it. If you retest it, then you jump in again. Your stop loss low, and then the next TP, and then if it breaks that as well, you know where it's going to the moon. This is where it's coming to for another how many pips move? Another 100 plus pip move. So on this one trade itself, you can actually win so much from it. But if that doesn't happen, you know the rules. You must always look at the other case scenarios. If it happens to the upside, fine. If it doesn't happen to the upside, where are we getting to? If this breaks back here, this is where it's coming to. That's why you identify your levels. That's why you know where your structure are. So if it breaks out of here and for some reason, strange reason, it doesn't go up, it's going to come back down, back to where the structure is going to come back to this structure. Then if it comes back to this structure and it doesn't go back, where is it coming back to? The other structure down here. If it does that, it doesn't go up, where is it coming back to? Yeah, we know that that is what is going to happen, but we're not going to just trade, as you make assumptions. We're only going to trade if we get confirmation. Yep. So that's your move right there. So these 3 levels, is it 3 now? So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. This is where your money is at. This is where your money is at. Let's see from here to this point right now. Yep. If you can just get the £700, $768, you just get $760 for the whole week. Not too bad a trade. So just move. Watch there. The only challenge we would have is if the market is slow. If the market is slow, then we're going to get frustrated, because we do all of this and then we expect the market to move and it doesn't. But that, no matter what happens, we will not trade until we see a confirmation. Yep. So that's your USD card right there. Now, GBP AUD. This is my baby right here. So I'm just going to start again. The drill. We start all the way from the monthly now to see what's really happening. So right now we can see, okay, I can see clearly a level right here. I see a level here. See a level here. I can see a level here. Clearly. I can see a level to the upside. I'm not very sold to the upside. I know this. My bias is that this might be dropping anytime soon. So, but I'm just going to capture them as I see them. I'm going to capture them as I see them. So that's my downside level right there. No worries. So now I'm going to come down to my weekly to see what other levels I see on the downside. If you notice what's happening right now, can you see what's happening? This is the way to the top. So I already have that knowledge. So you see what I was trying to say with some people, that you can decide you have different strategies you can use to take a trade. You can decide, okay, you don't want to use supply and demand. You don't want to use support and resistance. But support and resistance, you have to use support and resistance because it will tell you where your TPs would be. You can just decide to work with trend line. The market can do whatever it does. So the reason why you tend to have the idea of how to use all of these strategies, so that whichever way the market moves, you know how to capture it, you know how to put it in perspective. Like right now, you've already seen it yourself that the market has created a trend for you, this trend right here, the upward trend. So what do? Capture it with the trend line so that you can put things in perspective. Now, we normally know that if it breaks trend line, we normally try to see either like a pullback or a retest or something, then it will bring us back to the next level. That's what it is. But I'm not going to do that for now. I'm just going to capture do the first things that we started out doing, capturing all of the levels. So now you see what's happening. I can see that level, see this level, which coincides with that level. Put that right there. Let me see which other level I can see. See that one. Yep, booms with that one there. Let me see if I can see more. What about this guy here? Yes, I can see that one because kind of touches this one, touches that one, and touches this one. Remember, we're on the weekly. Don't look at it like the lines are too many. They are not, because if you look at the spaces between how many pips apart are they? Yep, 500 pips. So if you dig down to the smaller time frame, you would see how it moves. Now, look at structure. We see how it is. It's structure. It comes back, it tries to break a particular level, it's not able to break it, it's going to come back down. If it breaks it, it's going to retest it and then go back up. You can see we saw example of that in the USD, and it happens every now and then. It doesn't fail. So look at that. See what's happening right there. I'm just going to reduce this. I don't like it big. You see, it broke out of that, retested, dropped. Where did it get to? Oh, hold on, please. Let me just. I'm getting too excited right now. So like I said, guys, just pardon me for today. I just have a little bit of background noise. My whole family is here, all trying to eat. So So right now you can see that what's happening. Bring that to the next level. Bring that to the next level. Yeah. So remember what I said about these things. Your supply, support and resistance are not necessarily aligned. They are more or less an area, a zone, because 1,001 or millions of traders are looking at that area. So that we are not all going to see 1.9691641 or 640. We're all going to see different things, different numbers. So that's why we tend to capture these as levels or zone as opposed to lines. So I'll catch that. Okay, so you see what is happening right now. This guy broke this structure. What did it do? It came down to this level and then bounced back and retested it. And what did it do? Came back, dropped back to, okay, let me start that again. It came down, it broke this level. What did it do? Came back and retested and then dropped. As it dropped, it broke this level. What did it do? It came back and retested. But unfortunately, it didn't really drop. It broke back to that first level. So it means that this level is a key level. This level is a key level, is a key structural level because it always came back to that level. What did it do again? It dropped and came back to that level. And what did it do? Drop to the lowest level on the chart. But you keep noticing every time it goes to retest the zone, it doesn't break that upper level that it had broken before. I mean, it's retested. It doesn't break it. It came back, retested, and what did it do this time around? It broke it. Now, this would have been an example of a fake up because I would have expected this to break and retest and jump up, but it didn't. But when it broke back in, what did it do? It didn't go beyond. It went back to that level, to a particular level. You see why levels are important. It went back to a level. So even though you were trying to sell this when you got a confirmation, you could still win this because it went back to that level. Now, if it broke this, where do you think it's going to go to? It's going to come back to this level. If it broke this, where do you think it's going to go to? It's going to come back to this level because it's been doing that from level to level, from level to level. Now, it broke out of this. What did it do? It retested it. And what did it do after retesting? It jumped back. And where did it get to when it jumped? The next. So what do you expect this to do when it breaks this level? Where do you think it's going to go to? Your guess is as good as mine. It's going to get into this level. So I'm going to put that box right there so I can capture it as a level, anticipating the market to come there or waiting for the market to come there. So that's that. If you look left, if you notice what's happening, is a key level as well. I don't want to draw the lines too wide, far in. So that's a key level. That's because it's tested it. It broke out. Another level is somewhere here that we can clearly see. That is if the market tends to go to the upside, but I strongly doubt it's going to go that high because of what I'm going to show you just now. So what did it do? It's not been able to break this level. It's not been able to break it. And why? How do I know? It's probably might be coming down because it's been throwing pins. It's been throwing pins. You see, it's a giant pin. So that's telling us that the bears are pulling the market down. The bulls are trying as much as possible to jump this level, since they broke it. Now, if I want to use structure to explain this, I can simply say that this came down, broke that structure, and what is it doing? It came back and retested. Last time it broke it in 2016, 2 years ago. And the next time it came back to it was just how many days ago? In March. It came back to it in March. It didn't even really touch it in March. Really touched it in, it was even still in March that it touched it, March 25th, And we know what this means. Every time it comes back to a level, it comes back to retest it and then drop. So I'm more particular about this drop than the jump. I'm more particular about this drop, especially the fact that I can see a lot of pins being thrown here. So for this, remember how we do it? I'm waiting for this to drop to the downside. This is what I'm waiting for this move right here. Waiting for this move to drop to the downside for how many pips? Ooh, 700, 800 pips. 800 pips, guys. 800 pips. Yep. 800 pips. So, but mind you, don't be caught unawares. Remember, we still have something here, this level right here. So just in case, if anything goes south, well, I'm going to keep another code, put this as another color. No. Use another color for this one, Dodge blue. So that if I look left, I can see here it's a valid zone because see reactions around it. It's a valid zone. So now, if this comes down, I'm expecting this guy to come down. I'll see 200 plus pips. I would say, yep. Oh, yes, 400. Okay, from where it is right now, maybe that from where it is right now, not bad, 138 pips. So if I enter this as a sell right now, I should be seeing this 130 pips move, So, but like I said, I'm seeing this going to the downside. Why? Because of these pins. This is a rejection. That's number one. One confirmation for me is because of these rejections that I'm seeing. Pins being thrown all over the place. So this is a confirmation for me. One confirmation that this might actually be going to the downside. The second confirmation is the fact that it broke structure here in 2016. And it's just coming back to retest it after 2 years. So anytime the structure is broken, what do we do? What do we know? We know that it's going to come back and retest it and then drop. So if it's dropping, it's probably going to drop to the next level. So the next level we have is this small guy right here. But if it breaks here, what are we waiting for? We're waiting for it to come back and retest. We would never take a trade unless we see confirmation. Confirmation is this, a retest, and then we can drop to this downside to complete that 500 plus move that we're waiting for. Again, if that breaks, you know the rule. It needs to break and retest as well. It needs to retest and then keep dropping. Yep, that's just it. We won't trade what we don't see. We only trade what we see at the. We only trade what we see. So. Mind you, I'm still on the weekly time frame, just showing you things on the weekly time frame. So that's what we're seeing. So if I bring this down, I'm going to delete all of this because now we know where the price is going to. Oh, not that. Let me delete all of this so I can show you things. Okay, so my bias is that this is going to come down. This is going to come down. So I'm going to go down to my lower time frame. Sweet guys, sweet guys. Look at that giant and bullish bearish engulfing candle. This just massively dropped. That's telling me that the bears are probably in charge right now, and they are probably going to send this market to the downside. They're probably going to send it to the grave or something. So it's okay. Remember what I said, it's okay for you to move your lines, when you drive down to the lower time frames, because they would help you to be able to see the levels more clearly. Now, remember I was saying that this was in consolidation. Yep, it was in a range. It was indeed, because if I draw this range out, I can still see it. But now I can clearly see that this, I think I can change this color. Let me see what color I can use for this. Good. What about this? Okay, let's manage this one. You can see this bull bearish candle is very strong. It's a really strong candle. So I'm not gonna guess or jump to the conclusion that it's going to keep going down. You know how these candles are. They could just throw a pin right now and then we're back to the range. But as long as we are throwing these pins, you can see a lot of pins being thrown to the upside. I'm more inclined to believe that this might actually be coming down because of that this giant bearish engulfing candle that we are seeing. If this candle finishes, on this daily without so I should be expecting another one to start forming. But you know how it is. We will not jump into this market unless we get a confirmation. And the confirmation we may have is maybe like a drop, a retest, or a kind of pullback. Or, excuse me, you can just jump in. You want to be an early trader, want to jump in early, call it aggressive entry. That will be your entry. So this is what you're looking for. You're looking for this candle. So this is going to close about below it. This candle needs to close below it. This candle needs to close below it, and this candle needs to be here outside. Then you can jump in. Or if you want to, like I said, you can wait for a retest of that zone or a kind of pullback or a flag to be formed. Then you can jump in for a sell. Where are you going to this next level? Those are the two options that you have. You can do that, wait for this to finish, or you can just jump in as it is. That's crazy because there's no confirmation. There's nothing that tells you to jump in, because you can see what happened here. It came here, tested, jumped back up, came here, tested, jumped back up. So you wouldn't want to take that risk. That's a rookie mistake. You don't want to do that. Wait till you get a confirmation. Confirmation will be this candle closing out of this range. As bearish as strong and bearish as it is to close out of this range. Then the next candle, you can enter the next candle, or you just wait for a kind of pullback or a retest. Then you jump in to this downside. So this is your move right there. This is your move right there. Oops, what did it change? Okay. All right. So that's your move. This is your guy right here. Wait for that candle, either a pullback or whatever. Then that's your guy right there. But if all things do not work according to what we plan, and then this for some reason just throws a large pin and goes to the upside, then we have no choice but to wait for a breakout. Again, either this same thing happening or a retest as we call it. Remember, it's a zone, it's a range, it's also a zone as well. It's a major zone. So for this one, you need to wait for that retest to happen. You need to wait for it to retest that zone, and then you can ride it to the top. Ride it to the top. Yep. For how many pips? We've already seen how many pips that will be. That's 500 plus. Oh, almost 700 pips. So that's that one. There's really no plenty thing on the left happening. That's why this kind of trading needs to be careful. There's really no price, no data on the left. A lot of data. So you could take profit here. You could just let it come since it's already broken this. Just let it go. Get there, and you could take profit here. Or you could just wait. Take it to the next this next one. Either you take it here, or you take it to this next one. It's all good. I would take it on this next level. So that's if I bring it down to the smaller time frame, it's the same thing. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. It's what you see. It's really what you see. Unless you want to trade in this zone. Sorry, if you want to trade in this range, you can bring things down, bring it out to the smaller time frame, then you scalp it. Excuse me, you scalp it. That is if this goes back inside. If this goes back inside, then you can start scalping. Just take what you can get in and out, in and out, in and out. But mind you, remember, it didn't come back. This didn't come all the way down here. It jumped from here. This came back here, but this didn't go back up either. It came down. This went up, but didn't go to the top of the range, but dropped halfway. So it's the same things you have to put into consideration to know when you're going to get out of. So maybe on the smaller time frames, you can create levels for them. Maybe something like this, levels like this. So this will serve as your TP areas, your smaller TP areas. So these levels like this. So you can scalp from here to here, from here to here, from here to here. Then if it breaks, wait for a retest to take it to the next one. Otherwise, just take it from between these two ranges. But I'm not going to do that just to keep my chart neat. So that's what we're waiting for. That's our move right there. This, I'm waiting for a pullback to happen. Breakout, a pullback. Then I will ride it to the downside. Then if that breaks again, you know the rule. Let it go, and then, or you can, if it breaks a bit, you can create a pending order for it. maybe like sell limit would be what you will create. So if he breaks that, if it breaks, put the sell limit here, waiting for you to come back and then take you to the next zone. So that is GBP AUD. Now GBP USD. I said I was gonna skip USD for now because of the news, the holidays that are happening. USD JPY for now. Those Japanese pairs, I'm just gonna skip them. So we start again, going to the monthly to see what's happening. So I can see this. Let me change this to my color. Okay, so that's that. This is where the price is currently, and this is where the lowest point of the price is. This is the highest point of the price at this present time, which coincides with this level. Now, yep, because I can't really see much happening here, I can now go down to my lower time frame to see if I can see more actions. And yes, sure enough, you can see what's happening. Remember again, if you don't use supply and demand, if you don't use Fibonacci, you can use trend lines. The price would always give you different things to use to trade. Now I can see what's happening right here. There's a trend here, and the trend is an upward trend. There's a trend happening. The trend is an upward trend. So you know how it is. Let me put that well. I know when I get to this smaller time frame, I'll tend to see things more clearly. So, but now, okay, let me just put this right here. So this is what we're currently experiencing. This is what's happening. But before that, we're going to create all of the levels that we see. So I can have that level happening there. I have that level. Why? Because, yep, you see, I have that level because those are the places that price had some form of reaction or came back and turned away from. And what else? Yeah, I leave things like that for now. Now, why do I capture those levels? Because those are the places that price came in and turned at. Before then, I think I can capture this one as well because price does that. Again, it's not too many. Don't say the lines are too many because if you count the pips a part of them, you would see that this is, yes, that's 200 plus. So they are not too many. This is how many? 200 plus. So the levels are not too many because if you bring them down to the smaller time frame, you tend to see them more wider. Now, before then, I wanted to point something out. If you look at it on the higher time frame, what can you see? You can clearly see, a double top forming here, a double top forming here. And what do we know double tops to be? They are reversal patterns. Double tops are what? Reversal patterns. So meaning that the market has probably been moving. Oops, sorry about that. Let me do that. Oh, come on. Let me see if I understand that. Okay. Yeah, a message was sent. Let me see what the message is. Okay, that's money. Exactly. I know. This is Didi's pair. She loves GBP USD. It's really amazing because a lot of people run away from GBP USD, but she's become so good at trading this pair, and it's really fascinating. So if somebody here also likes GBP USD, Didi is a person to go to give you some good tips on how to trade it, and she's very, very good at it because this is all she trades. She's been able to pick up a pair, which is what I always advise: pick up a pair and then stick to it. Then you will tend to understand how it moves. You won't miss moves, which is what we tend to do a lot of time. We mark up these charts, and at the end of the day, we have too many charts to look for. Before we come back to it, it's already made that move. So but if you concentrate in one pair, you will not miss its move. Now see what's happening right here. A double top. You can see that move. It's been doing that. It's been going up. And all of a sudden, it created an M, and we know that an M or a double top or a triple top. They are all reversal patterns. They tell you that the market is probably ready to, it's one confirmation to know that the market is probably ready to start dropping. Yep. So that's a confirmation for me. Yeah, the market is probably ready. That's one confirmation for that the market is probably ready to start coming down. But I'm not just going to take what I see. I'm going to find other confirmations. Another confirmation would be looking at my trend line. You see what has been happening? Touch, jump, touch, jump, touch, jump, touch, jump. Then what is it doing again? I'm waiting for this to break. I'm waiting for this to break. And coincidentally, it's in confluence with a level. Sweet, isn't it? It is in confluence with a level, this level right here. So I'm just going to wait for this to break and then retest. I know that generally I can see that this is going to be much more bearish. Why? Because it's through pins here, through pins here, through pins here, you know, pins to the upside, you know. And so because of that, I know there's going to be bearish. And again, the second thing is the fact that it's a double top, which is a reversal pattern. And the third thing, I don't know if this was a teaching class, I would have asked us to make contributions. The third thing I can clearly see is because it broke structure here. And what is it doing? It came back and retest. And we know the rules. Once structure is broken and a retest is happening, we know that it's definitely going to come down. So it did this in 2016. It's come back to retest it. It tested once, tested it twice, and now we're expecting it may actually retest it a third time before dropping. But whatever be the case, we don't expect this to break this level because it's already, it broke, came down. So it's just a retest that we're experiencing right now. So that's a fourth confirmation for us to sell this market, you know, as a fourth confirmation. But we only sell it if we get this breakout and a retest, because you can't just jump in now. You know, it's in its zone, it's in a zone, it's in a key zone. We only have to wait for this to break out and retest, and then we can sell it to the downside. And the downside is going to offer us how many pips in total? Jesus is the Lord. 400 plus pips, 430 pips. That is what we're waiting for this pair to give us. And if it continues going down, you know where it's going to. It's going to, that is going, I don't want to mention the word hell, it's going to hell. I've already said it. So this is probably where it might be going to if everything remains equal, you know, 1,000 plus pips. But we're not just going to jump in and expect that to give us, because remember how the market moves up and down, up and down, up and down. So wait for this move to happen, that retest to happen, because it's at a key zone and it's at a key trend line. So it needs to break that trend line and retest that support. Support will become resistance, you know, structure. So it needs to break and retest, and then we can see it coming to the downside. I can bring this down to the smaller time frame so you can clearly see what I'm seeing. So now you know where your TP would be. For some of you that understand measured moves, you can just pick this, measure it. What's the top saying? That's your trade right there. And this is your bottom of the M. So where would be your TP? Your TP will be somewhere around, because why? You're waiting for this market to come back, break this structure, come back and retest it. You know, so break, come back and retest, and then you can TP. And if you look at the TPs, although it's not very close, it's close to this zone. It's not at the zone, but okay, there's no problem. I can just, you know, initially I thought I was going to TP at this place, at this one, but now I see that if I measure this, it can actually TP. I can actually TP here, so which is a good thing for me. It's a good thing for me. You know, so I can TP here, which is, let me see how many pips that would be. If I TP here, how many pips would that give me? That would give me, yeah, not bad, 600 pips, 600 plus pips. Not bad, not bad, not bad at all. So that's what I'm looking for. So if you were to trade this, you can do the measured move, and then that will be your TP, you know, but again, double top, wait for that break, that drop, that break. It needs to break out of this. It needs to break out of this, then it needs to retest that zone first before you can trade this. Do not just jump in unless you get a confirmation. So jump in only when this has retested. But if it breaks out well enough, you can always do a sell limit. Pending order, put in a sell limit here, and then your TP will be somewhere here, and TP1 will be here, TP2. But also bear in mind that these are levels as well, smaller levels that reactions could happen. So you might want to, maybe either take early profits or just see that. Take early profits or just, this has just key levels as well that this thing is always act up. Or this could be your entry zones, your multiple entry zones. So you enter here. When it gets to this next level, you enter there as well. If it gets to this next level, you enter here as well. So this could just be your entry zones. Yep. So this you can clearly see when you go to the smaller time frame. Let me see how many pips. If you come from there, this is how many pips. Too bad. Yep, 60 pips. Not too bad for some people. That's only scalp. That's not too bad. So you get to that level, pick it, get to that level, enter again till you get to your final target. So drive this down to your lower time frame to kind of see what's happening. You may want to, if like I said, people that want to scalp this, you can scalp this, but this is just okay on the daily for me, unless you want to just if you believe this is going to go back up, if you want to go back to the upside and do, this might be ranging. Yeah, that's another possibility. This could range and take you back to the higher time frame, take you back to the higher time frame and probably create a triple top, create a triple top and then finally drop to break it. This may not be the break that may happen, so that's another element that may be the double top here may be a false one. So this may actually go back and do that upside. And if it does that, or another confirmation you would get to be able to keep trading this upside is to see if this is going to form your head and shoulder. The shoulder, the head, another shoulder, then you can ride it to the top. But then, again, I do not trade ranges. I don't like trading ranges. I let ranges go. So for me, this is a range. At this point, this is a range. I will not trade this. I need to see a clear breakout of structure of levels before I can take it. So if you're trading the daily time frame, so just wait for this to break out, retest, and then drop. But I'm not gonna say that this is gonna break to the upside because of it retested, and I'm expecting this to keep dropping, and also because of the pins that has been thrown here and the fact that this is a double top. So at this point in time, I'm believing this market is going to keep coming down. So I'm looking for a sell. Unless you're scalping or the lower time frame, you want to see the smaller moves, you want to scalp it, then you can come to the lower time frame and then get some good confirmation before you can jump in to buy to these points, because it's a good how many pips as well. If you can get a good entry to jump back to the upside, it's a good 600 pips. But then remember, do not wait to get 600 pips. Look for the smaller levels as well. So be these levels. Look for these levels. Okay, I can first of all look for this one, the first one that you would see. And so you can just TP here for a good 100 and something pips, TP somewhere around there. Then wait for the next level to happen, which is somewhere around here, I would say. So just keep taking them little by little, and then wait for the next level, somewhere around here as well. I see. So this will be your levels. So as I'm doing this, I expect people to also look at them so that they can also be creating it, because this will be your trade right there. Okay, so these are your trades. You saw what happened here. It was going up, going up. What did it form? A head and shoulder. And what head and shoulders are what? Reversal patterns. Then you saw that move happening. Yep, so that move happening. So this might actually be that thing again, that reversal pattern happening here again. But if you want to trade the smaller time frame, it's entirely up to you. Just pick that, but be careful. Remember, that's why I put these levels there, so you can jump in and jump out, or increase them when they enter. Compound them, I should say, rather. Compound them, then you put your stop loss in place so you can win them to the downside. In fact, GU is a very good trade, as I'm seeing. It's a very, very good trade for both scalpers and scalpers and intraday traders. This is a very good trade. Yep. So my final trade for tonight would be GCAD. That's the trade we're all in at the moment. I know that this trade has been. Let me bring this. Okay, so this is the trade that we saw and we said, oh, this will be a massive win, you know. So I still think it's going to be a massive win. So because I'm still in it. So this is the okay. That excuse me. So this is the lowest point of the trade of the where price is at this point. This is the highest point where it is at this point. You know, the all within zones and within structural levels and what have you. So I can identify this place as well. I can see it, identify it as well. Yep, and what else? I'm just going to leave that and go down to the smaller time frame. So when I come down, see what's happening. See my level right here. I expected, let me see. Okay, it's good. So my line chart tells me that this is where this thing is at this point in time. You can see that move, you can see that retest and that jump to the upside. Go back there. So that retest and that jump to the upside, where did it go back to? You guessed it. Zone. Went back to that zone. Just gonna draw something around there just to capture this, put this in perspective. Okay, so that's where we are at. You know, so presently this is breaking this zone. It's so this is not what we expected to happen, but it's all good. We just watch the market and see what it's gonna do. This is what we okay, let me just keep capturing the levels until I'm done. So this is the levels that we have. Yep, that. Now, you see what happened. Structure never, hold on. I can see that happen here. You start to explain. Now, see what happens to this market. Came down, broke that, retested, dropped, came again, retested it, and then it dropped. You know, we saw that massive drop. And then after breaking that structure, that zone, it hasn't retested. Remember what it is. It needs to break a zone or a level and then retest it. Yep. So one thing, two things is probably in play right now, which may have meant that we probably didn't think this trade through. But not a problem. It's okay for us to make a mistake. Now, it broke out of here, you know, it retested. It needed to retest that zone and then drop. So I would say that in one trade, one way of looking at this is like it's retesting it. It's retested it, and now it's on its way down. That is probably what is happening. Yep, it came down, retested it, and now on its way down. Now, on the flip side, remember what it is. A double bottom is a pattern, you know, and we know what double bottom is. It's another reversal pattern, like we all know. So sometimes these things you can't always know what the market is going to do. You know, you're at the mercy of market movers. You're a retail trader. If you had the money that they had, you probably would have started buying this market and then shot it up to the upside. Every other person will have joined in and will have won. You know, so now we're at the mercy of the market mover. So if they decide to keep this as a retest instead of a double bottom, then this is what it's going to be. It's going to be a double bottom. What happened? It came back, retested, and then what are we seeing? A drop. Also, on the flip side, this may actually be a double bottom, and we know what double bottoms are. It needs to break, it needs to come back, and this last leg here needs to break this neck and then come back and retest it, which is what we saw and felt this was a good trade. So it came back and retested. So we expected this to jump to the upside. This is what we're expecting to happen. You know, this is what we were expecting to happen. But if the market decides to follow structure, then this wasn't the sell would not hold. I wouldn't say it was a bad trade. I wouldn't say, let me not say that it's a bad trade, because we actually did it based on structure. We saw it break, based on pattern, double bottom, can we say triple bottom? I don't really recall this, because really score this for double bottom because of that move. 1, 2. So that double bottom, this one move for me now, and then this another move, another bottom. So what happened? It did that. So we know the rule of double bottoms. It needs to come out, and then it needs to retest the shoulder or the neck, whichever you call it, and then jump to the upside. That's what we felt that was a good move. But if that doesn't hold, then we're clearly going to see what is happening right now. Break of structure, a retest of structure, and then it drop. So if it breaks this level right now, this neck is definitely coming down. See? Definitely coming down. So we're going to see it break here, and then we're going to see the same structure happen. And what would it be? It needs to retest that, and then it will drop down to this level. Why? Because this is where it always got to. When it broke it, this is where it got to. It came up, got there before it finally broke it and came back up. But so it means it's definitely going to come before, because it's broken it before. It's definitely going to come here. And if it breaks this again, it's going to come down to this next level. If it breaks that again, it's come down to that next level. So if this gets you out of your stop loss, don't get upset. You've not done anything wrong by entering this trade. You've not done anything wrong at all. In fact, you follow structure, you follow the rules, double bottoms, then double bottom, break off the neck, retest, and then to the upside. This was just one of those pairs that have two patterns, two case scenarios, the retest or whichever one plays out. So if they choose to play out the retest instead, test of structure, then that is what it's going to be. That's why we play with stop losses, just in case it doesn't apply. It doesn't play out the way we want it to play out. So if it gets you out on your stop loss, wait to get a good confirmation before you get in. Either get in on a buy. So for you to be able to get back in on a buy means that there has to be a rejection of this zone. Yep, there has to be a rejection of this zone, and then you can get a good confirmation to take it to the upside, and make back your money that you lost when it took you out and stop loss. So this might go back here for 500 pips. I know you guys are like, Mike, are you crazy? Why are you giving us this giant pips? We need to get to the level where we start, we set it and forget it, So this is on the weekly. So I'm going to bring it down to the daily to see what's really happening. So this is what is happening right now. You can see that this guy, there's a giant candle, giant bearish candle breaking out of this zone, So what are we expecting to happen? If this happens, if this continues like this and then closes like this, the next candle forms below it, you can either enter aggressively on the next candle or wait for that retest to happen. That retest must happen, then you can trade it to the downside. Now, you don't necessarily have to wait till it gets to this down part. You can start taking your profit from the levels that you see, the smaller levels that you can see. I don't really like the way these things are all choppy. Let me see. So these are smaller levels I can see. Yep, smaller levels. And also these levels can be your entry zones, more entry zones to increase your positions. So let me see how many pips apart they are. They shouldn't be too small. So from there to here, yep, good, 300 plus pips. From here to here, good 200 plus pips. So not so bad. So from here to here, good on 160. From here to here, yep, good 190 pips. So this is your trade right there. Wait for this to break out. I'll leave this break out and then does the retest. Then you can take it to here or sell it to here. If it doesn't keep selling, then you buy it back there, but then only on confirmation. You can bring things to the smaller time frame, to each 4, so you can see them more clearly. Let me see. Even on the H4, you can still see that it's still moving. It's not seeming like it's going to stop. So it's all good. We are not going to fret. Structure, we just wait for it to break structure, and then we take our TP on this next move. You see this story, this is the way the story goes. Once you can see it on the higher time frame, you see where it's going to. You see where the destination is. The lower time frame is just to show you the details where it's going to branch to, maybe to fuel its tank, to take snacks and everything, to buy things for the family as they're going. But the final destination. That's what the higher time frame does to you. It shows you where the market is going to. Then the smaller time frame just shows you where it might get to before it does these branches. And also bear in mind that something could just happen. That you could just phone them back and say, okay, it needs to come back to where it's coming from because there's some things they forgot. That's where you would notice that it would normally move back instead of continuing to where it's going to. You normally see it go all the way back to the top. In those cases, some of those things that could happen would be news. News releases would be the ones that would generally turn back the direction of this price. You understand? So that's a short way of looking at it. So that's the final pair for this night. So we looked at USD, Euro USD, we looked at Euro USD card, we looked at GBP AUD, we looked at GBP USD, and we've looked at GBP card. We didn't want to look at this guy because we have a lot of Japanese news coming. So although if all things remains equal, this should just let me see structure. I'm not going to look at it because of time. I don't want this video to be too long so people don't get tired as they watch it. But if you have any specific pair that you want me to look at before the market opens, I'll probably just jump in maybe tomorrow morning. I'm sorry, after church tomorrow. Then I'll send it in because market opens my own time, 10 p.m. So that may be around, I think it's to be around 5 p.m. at your end or 4 p.m. at your end. Not sure. Yeah. Oh, you want me to look at E-card? Okay, I think I can squeeze in a little bit, a few minutes for that. Okay. E-card. Sorry, guys. E-card. Let me just look at that real quick before I go. So E-card. Okay. Higher time frame. Too many weeks all over the place. I don't like moves with too many weeks. Okay, but not a problem. We can look at it together. So look at that. So those moves happening. The highest point of the market, the lowest point of that market. So I can bring this down to the smaller time frame. This giant reverse head and shoulder. I saw it. Yeah. Thank you. I saw it, and what did I do? I traded it. I took it to the upside. Although I didn't take this last one, but I took this one here. So yeah, but right now it seems as if it's rejecting and it's coming back down. You can see what's happening. So this might actually be coming down, but it's still within that zone. It's still within that zone. So there is no reason to be worried. So we can keep that there. It's still within that zone. I will still capture more levels before I go ahead to analyze this. So let me capture more levels at the higher time frames. Okay. So yeah, I can play with this now. Let's see. So bring these things down and see what's happening. As you can see, it was on the massive upward move. It was going on because of this leg. Let me see. Did it finish that move? Did it finish that move on the shoulder? Let me see if it did. I don't think it finished it. I don't think it did. I didn't finish it. If it was a measured move. Yep, it didn't finish it. So who knows? It might actually still be going up. Who knows? So let's just keep our options open. Let's keep our options open. This may actually be a pullback to jump up to the upside, but it's not a problem. But as long as we don't get a confirmation, we will not trade it. This is 3 a week here, 3 a week here. So that may indicate that it may not be able to go up. But as you can see, it's already showing signs of coming down. So you see what happening? It broke out. Sorry. Give me that level. Let me take that, increase that. So you can see it for yourself. You know, you can see it for yourself. It broke out of this level. You know, retested and then dropped. Where did it drop to? This level. I think I can bring this down a bit. Let me bring this down. Go to the higher time frame and bring it down even better. Yeah. Okay, so here, this is where we are at now. So, yep, broke out of that level, retested properly, and then dropped back to that level. So, now we don't have any reason to worry about this pair. What we would see, two things can happen. It can go back here, you know, forming a second leg of that double bottom, and then what would happen? It will jump out of this and retest this, and then jump up. Yep, to jump up. So forming a double bottom and then jump into the upside. Or it could break out of that structure to the downside. And then again, it needs to retest that and then drop back to this zone. You know, it's really, 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 really straightforward. So this one is really, really straightforward. But I'm going to bring things down to the smaller time frame so we can see other levels that we can scalp or we can increase as positions for maximum winning. So hold on. So that's where we are at this point in time. Let's go to the H4 and see what's happening there too. Yep. Oh, same thing. There's really no clear change. You know, it's just that we can see that double bottom that happened here and then jumped. See that double bottom happened here and then jump. So it means I can either even still okay, let me add another level. Let me add another level as opposed to moving that level again, because it will work for me on the higher time frame. So yep, you can change the color of this one if you choose to. So what happened? That's a double bottom there and then jump to the upside. So this is creating another one now coming down here, or it may actually just stop here, or it may come down to this level that it got to before. Change that color. You know, it may come back to that level that it got to before, this level. It may come back here. Then if it comes back, it needs to come back and test it. Yep. Or it will stop here. But remember the rule when I talked about double bottoms. My double bottom must always be like this. You know, must be something like this. This will be my double bottom. Or like this, it needs to come down. So if I'm doing this, this would be my double bottom. Yep. So that's my what's it called now? That's my support. So my double bottoms must be like this. So either it comes back, must be within that support. Yep. Must be like this, something like this, on the same level with that support, or must be above that support. You know, these are my double bottom confirmations. My double bottoms must not be like this. I know sometimes if it forms and it still plays out like that, but for me to confirm that that's a double bottom for me, it must not be like this. If you read that book that I shared with us, Naked Forex, it will tell you, they give you this rule. So this may not be my double, it's still close, but some of them comes this far, and then I would not call that a double bottom. For example, what Euro USD did just recently, you know, it started like this and we felt it was going to be a double bottom, but then again it broke down. Some people were still waiting for a double bottom, but what did it do? It dropped finally. You know, so it needs to be in the same level as this first leg, or a bit higher than it. And so this is a valid one, because what did you see? It jumped to the upside. So we need to wait for this to do the same thing. What is it coming? It's going back to that level. It may even drop back to this double bottom then before jumping. So even though it jumps back, this is where we're taking TP from. This zone here at 1.57120. This is where we're taking TP from. But if it breaks that level, we may take it to on the next level. But I don't like this pair because there's so much choppiness, so much fake outs. You know, it's all over the place. It's all over the place. You know, so I'll have to be careful if I'm trading this one. But that is just what I'm seeing right now. If you bring it down to the lower time frame, I can scalp this a bit if you want to. Let me see that. So hold on. Even if you wanna look at it holistically, who knows? This may actually be a head and shoulder one, then that big head and shoulder, then this may be the drop. But then the drop would only happen if we see a confirmation to the downside. Remember, it needs to drop down and then it needs to retest that level before we can say we want to sell that trade, and we're selling it to this next level, you know, final next level. Or we can take a TP. Okay. So it may take a TP somewhere around here, you know. So we may see this as the final TP. Why? Because it broke. Since it broke here, it hasn't come back there. So it may be coming back to retest it to jump to the upside. But if not, we may not wait till it gets here, because there are levels here. You could TP from here, first TP, or probably just increase your positions here and move your stop loss close by, just in case it goes against you. But then I feel if it's going to break this and come down, it's definitely going to come back and retest because of this breakout again. So yep, so that's that one. That's EC, that's EuroCAD. So thank you very much everyone that has called in today, and I believe that we're going to have a very successful week. Now you need to go and look at the video again, because we did an analysis of news as well, you know, to see what the week is having in stock. So have a good night and God bless you. Bye bye. Thank you, Chinelo. Good night. Bye.